Hey guys, just finished watching Arrow, Season 6, Episode 11, We Fall. This episode was interesting. It was a really interesting episode to see what things go on. I mean, not too much things happen, but there's still a few things happening here. I got some lists here to go over. The first part was really cool. It was interesting with how people are getting electrocuted by touching the screen, which I didn't really get that, how Kate and Jen was able to send a virus over a computer screen or just a regular TV screen. And he was able to electrocute people just because they were touching the actual screen. That didn't make sense to me. I mean, yeah, he's able to, send a virus. You're probably able to send a virus that kind of makes the computer overheat and maybe, explode a little bit type thing. But there's the one right in the beginning of the episode where the doctor or nurse, whatever, he touched the screen and the monitor in the hospital room, and he got launched a few feet over a few beds, which kind of went to me like, it didn't make sense. Maybe get a little bit of a shock from a little bit, but it didn't make sense that he would get so shocked like that. Now I can understand him, heating up the computers and then causing fires, causing different things like that. That makes more sense, but exploding TVs just like that, it doesn't make sense to me that much. Maybe them catching fire and stuff, that makes sense, rather than, exploding and sending a person a few feet. I mean, he flew over a couple of hospital beds type thing, so that was kind of weird with that. And then we got the cool part of Oliver and William playing the toy bow and arrows, and Oliver not being good at it, and William being better at it with him, which, who knows, could that be a foreshadow or something to eventually William becoming part of the team, getting trained by Oliver. I think that would definitely be cool, especially with the hints of the bully later on in the episode. And then, him kind of taking the reins, William taking the reins in the bus and getting everyone out in there. I think that was interesting to see that. I mean, especially, it was kind of weird with that William in the bus, how, there was no other adult in there other than the driver, which, it's not the school teacher or the class teacher type thing, because usually, the teacher goes with them, and not just the bus driver is not going to go on the field trip with everyone. They're just there to drive the kids there, so that was kind of weird with that. But it would be cool to see if William could become someone on the team. I don't think he would be anyone right away, but I think if Oliver and him, now that he knows about the bunker and all that stuff, it would be cool to see Oliver and him training and stuff, just to keep him, the bond over thing, something they could bond over by getting in shape together, and, he could train him to self-defense and this and that, just to help different people. I think that could be cool to see that. And then we get some cool shots of maybe William, maybe not doing things yet, but doing little things like standing up for other people at school type thing, and defending people from bullies type thing. I think that could be a really cool thing to kind of slowly teach William that way, and he could be his own type of vigilante type thing just within the schoolyard type thing, and that could be really an interesting idea to play with that. That could be interesting to see how he goes with that. So who knows, that could be cool to see if that was a foreshadow for something later on. We could be interested to see that. Then we saw that Frank Pike died, which was interesting to see that. We haven't seen Frank Pike in a long time, since like early season 1 type thing, if I'm not mistaken. He was in a few episodes here and there. And then we see him now at this point. So it was interesting to see that now that he's dead, that it was kind of interesting to see how that went. And that was kind of another one that was weird. They all died just because the one guy was touching the a computer screen. Now, it didn't make sense to me. Now, if the computer screen had been, they heated up and there was a hole in the computer screen, but just touching a regular computer screen and then getting electrocuted didn't make sense to me how that works. So, whatever. It just was interesting to see the way they did. And then it was interesting because it cut to a shot of Curtis, who was Curtis, and then you saw the T-Spheres, and the T-Sphere had made a bit of a noise, and it sounded very much like R2-D2, or a little bit like BB-8, and that was going to be interesting to see that. Who knows if that was on purpose, or if they'd use that as a reference. It was interesting to see that. And then we find out that Vigilante tells Mr. Terrific that he's a double agent within Kate and James' place, and we find out later on that he actually even saves, he saves Wild Dog. He ends up shooting, I forget who he shoots, was the guy's name that he ends up shooting. He ends up shooting one of the guys and killing him, and saving Wild Dog throughout in the process type of thing. So that was interesting with that. And then we get Kate and James tells Oliver for the $10 million a day or people die type thing. That was interesting to see that. It's interesting though that he doesn't that Felicity, no one reached out to Cisco or anything like that to help with going on, and we still didn't get any reference to Barry being in prison. I'm surprised that, Caitlin or Cisco or anyone, or even Iris or Joe or anyone would text Oliver or Felicity or something like that, and they would hear it, or they would hear that just a city over, a police CSI is in jail. I think that would be news all over the place. Yes, you have, bigger news things going on right now, but it would be interesting to see that different things on the news. I think that would have been interesting to see maybe at the beginning of the episode, before everyone starts freaking out over the things that Kate and James are doing. Maybe they could just be in the middle of talking about a story about Barry being in prison, and then they get interrupted in the news, and then they say, "Oh, playing down because of whatever," and then things like that. That would have been interesting to see that. They could have started the episode off with that, and someone could have been like, "Did you know that Barry's in prison?" And they could be like, "Yeah, we don't have time for that. Kate and James just took down an airplane," type thing. I think that would have been a good way to do this. And then we get a cool suit here a new suit from John. John Diggle gets a new suit, which pretty much is just a new jacket type thing to go with it, which is pretty interesting to see. It's nice, a little bit of red to it, which is kind of interesting to see that. I kind of like how they keep on referencing things and saying that, at Cisco did this, even though we never get anything about him actually doing it. It's just, they just say that he did it type thing, which is interesting and it's nice. It's little things that really help connect the shows, and it's nice to do that. It would also just be nice to just have those references cooperated over on the Flash. Maybe a little thing about him. Oh, you doing something? Yeah, just building something for Cisco or for John type thing, or I just finished building something for John, or I don't know. All it has to be is just a little one-liner over on the Flash confirming that yes, Cisco did actually make that. I think that would be cool, and it would just kind of confirm these little things. So maybe we could get that next week's episode. That would be really cool to see that somewhere. It would be interesting to see how things go with that. That could be really fun to see that. And again, like I said, just a little connectors. That's all I want, just to say that they're aware of what things are going on in each other's shows. I think that'd be really cool, because they're the only two that are really in the same timeline, in this just a few cities apart, a few miles apart, really, and they're not far from each other. So it would be fun to see get those references, just to really connect that. Again, that would be cool to see that, and not have that be once in a blue moon type thing. So that would be cool to see that. And then we got a cool part with Black Canary. Dinah Drake was able to stop a train with her scream. That was really cool, seeing that, how she was able to screaming and doing that, and that's what we've been wanting for. I'm so excited with this Black Canary. It's so perfect the way they're doing her and the way they're doing her scream. Although we didn't get any Black Siren at all in this episode. I guess she's still out of commission or something, but I don't know why. We don't know what she was doing or she's doing anything, or where things are going with any of that. But it was really cool seeing the Black Siren. I mean, thinking back to the episode to a few seasons ago with, or last season with just Laurel as Black Canary, and she would scream and nothing would happen. A stunt double would fall down or type thing, and nothing would move. And now she was able to stop a train with her scream. This was really cool, and different character and all, but it was really cool to see that. Definitely is great, and this puts the original Black Canary to shame with her power, with her tech power type thing. So that's pretty cool to see that. Definitely can't wait to see more of Black Canary doing things like that. It would be cool at one point, maybe just see her, if she's able to stop a train like that, has to see her maybe at one point if she gets thrown off a building and she has to use her scream to help catch herself type thing. We did see that over on Supergirl, season 1, episode 17, if I'm not mistaken, because it was the next episode, which was the first crossover between Supergirl and Arrow, which was World's Finest type things, Supergirl and Flash. So that was really cool seeing that with what was it? Not Black Canary in this. I think it was Banshee over on Supergirl did that, where she fell off a building and did that. So it would be cool to see that on here. Maybe even a higher building, a really, really high, one of the highest buildings they have in Vancouver, or the highest building they have in Star City, and have her really fall, like a long fall where she kind of saves herself with just her scream. I think that could be a cool thing to see in an episode. Who knows? Maybe if they could do that, I have to find a way to maybe do that with some sort of budget. But it would be cool to see something like that and see more using of the power of that scream and pushing it to her limits. That could really be fun to see that. Or maybe with this next week's episode, there's kind of some sort of a bomb threat, another big bomb threat. And maybe she could use her powers to kind of contain that, or stop the blast, or shield a bunch of people from it. That could be really cool to see that too with that. And then we got Oliver saves William from from when they attacked the bus and William was stuck in there and got everyone out. Oliver saves William, and then William finds out that that he's back as back as Green Arrow type thing, and William gets into the bunker, and that's again where I want to see things go with that and see things move on with that. We got a bit of William in there. It would be cool to see him involved a little bit more. Like I said, maybe just slowly start training him. Just different. Maybe start sparring with him now that there's only 3 of them now in there. It would be cool just to have another eyes and ears, down at the bunker on the radios, or even just someone he can just spar with and slowly teach him to defend himself and all that stuff. I think it'd be a really cool thing to see that, kind of the way Malcolm Merlin did with Thea type thing. So that could be cool to see that, but obviously it wouldn't be exactly the same as them. But kind of that idea would be fun to see that with Oliver and William type thing. That could be really cool. And also with they keep on bringing back William's flashback back. That would be really cool to see him maybe at one point during a crossover or something, seeing the Flash meet him. Maybe we could see that. That would be interesting to see that at one point. Or even they can do that one episode where they have Flash over on Arrow without actually needing Grant Gustin, by just having him in there for a couple of secs. That would be really cool to see that. Like maybe he just zips over. I think, what was it, one episode he needed something from the Central City Police Department, and he just texted Barry, and we just saw the Flash in there. So Grant Gustin wasn't in the episode, but the Flash, the speed version, CGI version, was in there in the episode. So I think that could be cool to seeing that. It would be fun to see William meet the Team Flash, and maybe even Legends of Tomorrow. Those would be really cool, and meeting all those things, that would be cool to see it from his perspective for the next crossover. That would be a cool thing. Maybe just if he's just hanging out with different people and all that, and meeting people in just one scene. Doesn't need to be in the whole thing, but just one scene with William meeting everyone could be really cool to see that, and how he would react at his point. And does he know about he obviously knows about the Flash with the backpack, but does he know about the Atom? Does he know about different other characters? Like, did he know about Firestorm? Did he know about the White Canary and all those different characters? And who does he know about and all that stuff? And has he heard of, at this point, Elongated Man? I would assume at this point he might have heard of it, since it's starting to be in the news. That would be fun to see how things go about that, and all the different characters like that. So it would be cool to see a little bit more things from William's perspective throughout the Arrowverse with that. And then Black Canary doesn't want to play with Vigilante. He doesn't want to trust him and all that stuff, until they later on find out that he is kind of on their side, and he saves Wild Dog by taking out the guy type of thing. That was really interesting to see that. And then Oliver goes public with his knowledge about Kate and James, and with that. Although it doesn't really, I don't know why he did that, because it doesn't really help him. Doesn't really help his case or anything. And then we did cut from that to Kate and James going, oh, he's acting predictably. I guess he's just acting predictably to the point where now everyone has. He just told Kate and James publicly on TV where he's putting everyone, and where this is the place you need to attack, which was kind of silly in a way to do that. And then we get the Vigilante warning, Vigilantes warning the insiders with the kind of the Morse code, which is interesting that we got that part before that with, I think it was Curtis saying, taking the name Insiders, which is interesting with that, because the Insiders, I think not many of these characters are really part of the Insiders, other than maybe Mr. Terrific, but it's mainly characters for Insiders, mostly for characters like Batman and Black Lightning, was really involved in the Insiders. Black Lightning and his daughters, Thunder and Lightning, or part of the Insiders from what I know about them. I haven't really read too much about the Insiders, but from what I'm hearing is a lot of them are connected to Black Lightning and all that stuff. So watching a few stuff about that on YouTube has told me a lot about that. So it would be cool to see if they do become the Insiders. They didn't really take that name or like that name, but they would just kind of mention it. So that was interesting to see that, and see if we get them another name. That could be interesting to see that later on as things go on. So that was interesting to see that. And then there was a team up at the end where they teamed up just because they had to, because there was a lot of people that were involved. And when you have your villain, Kate and James taking down airplanes like that, kind of got to put all your pieces together, and you can't, got to put grudges behind yourself to save that. So that was interesting to play with that. So and then at the end we got the big reveal that Oliver pays Kate and James his $10 million, which it seemed like a really poor note to go out on the end of the episode. It wasn't like, oh my god, he's paying it type thing. Oh, but it was just like, oh really, he's paying it. It was just kind of, it was an anticlimactic ending, and it was kind of just not big enough of an ending to end the episode to end the episode on. I feel like I wanted something bigger than that to end it on. So we'll see how things go with this. Maybe the backlash from this, on the public side of it, and here maybe it leaks out that he did that. Someone from the press gets it, and that backlash could be interesting to see how that affects him as mayor. We'll have to wait and see how that works with that. That could be interesting to see. But other than that, that ending really didn't really interest me whatsoever. So who knows where things are going to go with this? Could be interesting to see. Maybe like to see how things continue on with here. But like I've been saying over on the Flash episode, we got a bit of the Trickster and people like that on there. Although Mark Hamill wasn't back, we just got a little bit of Trickster and his son and his ex-wife or mother of his son prank, and was over on the Flash. So I was thinking about it would be cool to see Mark Hamill's Trickster appear here on Arrow, especially how different the character is and how different and goofy and fun the character is. It would be kind of interesting to see how that would fit in this show, just for a cameo, for an episode type of thing. That could be interesting to see that. So I think it'd be interesting to see where things go with this, and how things continue on. Like I said, it would be interesting to see, slowly setting up to see William later on becoming a vigilante too, part of the team. That could be interesting to see that, and see him training and learning to do different things. That could be fun to do that. So I think it could be interesting to see where things go with this, and how things continue on with William, and where things go with that. But like I said, I'd like to see a little bit more stuff continue on with the Arrow team. Maybe become a little bit more, because I kind of disappointed with this season a little bit with the whole Kate and James and all these guys together. It just seems like a bunch of gangsters and things like that, whereas I want it to be a little bit more comic bookish, a little bit more Deathstroke, and a little bit more Ra's al Ghul like that from the comics, rather than just, some gangster show with fighting this one guy with a bow and arrow. So it would be interesting to see where things go with that. Definitely can't wait to see how things continue on in next week's episode. So let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below. What do you think? And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes subscribing is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.